Hey everybody, give everybody a chance to get in the room as usual, per usual. Let me make sure I got the right audio here. Yeah, we're good to go. Good evening, everyone. Lots to discuss. Thank you for joining us. Probably won't be too long tonight. I wanted to wait until after the town halls, not the debates, so that everyone could watch it and take it in, whichever one you watched. A stark contrast. A very stark contrast, and I think a meaningful contrast that really doesn't take a whole lot of analysis. You saw Donald Trump. See, I mess with something and it starts falling apart. Great. Hang on. I shouldn't have touched this. Sorry if it's loud. You saw a stark contrast between Donald Trump and Joe Biden, and I don't know how many more times you have to see it. Matter of fact, I know no one watching this has to see it. But we do live in two alternate universes where people who watch Donald Trump tonight, I'm not going to go too far in before we just say hello. Hang on, let me look at some comments. Matter of fact, let me slow down. Let me do my due diligence. Hey, everybody. What's going on, bro? Jeremiah, I see you, man. I see you. Daniel Gann said he was first. CA70, hey, everybody. Minnesota's in the house. Jonathan, what up, my dude? Homeschool, home team. Rochelle, good to see you. Davis, good to see you. It was wild, Cindy. Scotland, 3 a.m. in Scotland. You better get some rest, my people. Abigail, get some rest. Cheryl, Debbie, hey. Scott, hey, buddy, how you doing? Ick, Ash, Austin. I'm gonna see if I just call her Julie, Lindsay, Tracy, Holly, Layla, Reggie. Yeah, cool. Stephanie, I see you. You are already booped is the name from Twitter. Good to see you. So yeah, let's get started. Let's jump right into it. I'm not gonna play clips from either town hall. I want you either saw it or you didn't. I can give you the summary. Donald Trump lied. Joe Biden was detail-oriented. Donald Trump puts on a show. Joe Biden doesn't. And you know what? I'm about ready for a nice, bland president who isn't constantly worried and interested in putting on a show. Because that show has come at the expense of 217,000 lives from COVID-19 alone. So that's what it was. Donald Trump put on a show and Joe Biden put on a clinic. And here we are. Let me read some of your comments before I play the first clip. I have a lot of clips, so do me a favor. Summary. Brenda says she needs a summary. One of the big things was Donald Trump finally reluctantly conceded to being willing to engage in a peaceful transfer of power. But he still left room open for questions. But this is the first time he said something of the sort. He also said he wasn't sure. He couldn't remember. He couldn't remember if he got tested for COVID-19 on the day of the debate, which inspires a lot of confidence, right? Joe Biden was detail-oriented, policy-oriented, and answered the questions and actually engaged in the conversation about policy. That's the substantive difference. That's the summary. Everything else Donald Trump did was a sideshow. Now, I do have clips of Trump where he actually was saying some things that I think we need to discuss. I really didn't feel like tonight was that substantive. What did you all think of the debate? I still am upset for NBC booking this at the same exact time, giving Donald Trump a way to talk about ratings, because we know human nature, and I'm not slamming on anybody. I'm not looking down on anybody. It's in human nature. We all like entertainment. We all like the sideshow. We all like the clown show. To greater or lesser extent, some of us are tired of it sooner than others. But with Donald Trump, he knows how to generate ratings because he's going to be obscene. He's going to be absurd. And NBC knew that, and they booked him at that time. And I think that was journalistic malpractice. That was media malpractice. And that's one of the reasons Donald Trump is the president now. It's because people engage in that type of ratings chasing. That's a dangerous thing, and that's what we suffer tonight. Here it is, Laura S. I watched Trump for 20 minutes and caught multiple lies. So the same BS. And here's the thing. Thank you for saying that, Laura, from YouTube. The thing about two things. I want to put it in context of a quote that I heard from a professor that I interviewed. He was telling me, we were discussing racism and white supremacy. I'll be quick because I want to play some content some media for you. We were talking about racism and white supremacy, and he gave me a quote from Toni Morrison, the author, who said, it's the goal of racism to occupy your time. And I paused and I reflected, and I'm like, you know what? When you think about it, what we have to do with racism so much, and I'm going to bring it to Donald Trump, what we have to do with racism so much is to take our precious time that we have so little of, and we have to use it debunking the racist lies and tropes that are told about black people. We literally have to commit our time just to unpack the lies while they are able to skate free with their agenda and their goals. So while we're chasing the racism to try to put out the racist fires that they start, the person who started who was engaging in that racist arsenry is free to run and go and do what they have occupied our time. Similarly, these are professional liars who lie at a faster pace than we can keep up with. So they know that they could lie so much that it's impossible for someone to keep up with them in real time. And by the time we're done fact checking, the news cycle has already moved on and their lies have retweeted all the way around the world before the truth even got out of the bed. And so it's the tool of fascists. It's the goal of fascism to occupy our time with lies. So thank you for saying that, because I think that's something we have to understand and always be cognizant of. They are honestly pushing the envelope with their lies because it is a way of slowing us down. I love this, Shelby. Hypocrisy requires shame. These people have no shame, so it is what it is. And the other part of it is hypocrisy is a tool for them. They know what they're doing. We can't correct them because they know what they're doing. We can't point out the lie to them because they know they're lying. We can't give them a better line of reasoning or logic because the lie is the point. The hypocrisy is the point. It is a way of occupying us. We're busy trying to explain to them instead of realizing, oh, you meant to lie to us from the beginning. Oh, wait a minute. You never meant to deal in good faith with us from the beginning. Oh, wait a minute. You have bad faith, disingenuous intentions with me. And so instead of us coming to that conclusion, they have us thinking that we can expose their hypocrisy to them. Because we can expose the hypocrisy to them and feel this sense of intellectual superiority and moral superiority. And be like, hey, I got you. I caught you in a lie. And they're like, looking at us like, you big dummies. The entire point was to slow you down so that you could try to unpack our lies while we went ahead on with our agenda. And that's how we have Amy Coney Barrett. And that's how we're not able to stop her and stop the Republicans, because they've had us so busy trying to keep up with their lies and hypocrisy when the hypocrisy was the point. to slow us down long enough for them to get their agenda accomplished. We have to know this. Here's why it's important to know this. Because you know what? Why give them the benefit of the doubt? We should not elect a single Democrat who's going up there talking about giving them the benefit of the doubt, working across the aisles, bipartisanship. Why? Why should we? When we have incontrovertible, concrete evidence that they have every intention of lying nonstop, engaging in bad faith nonstop, using all sorts of Machiavellianism nonstop, relentlessly doing anything they can, breaking the rules, bending the Constitution nonstop to get their agenda across. And their agenda is one that is devastating to the majority of Americans. So the next Democrat I hear saying, and I'm only going to give you one pass. Here's your one pass, because we're in the ninth hour and it's too late for anybody to know. Your only pass is Joe Biden, who still talks about bipartisanship. Whatever, Joe, I'm going to leave you alone because we got to get rid of Donald Trump. But after 2020, I need everybody in this audience to understand that any Democrat who's talking about bipartisanship is a useful idiot, because Republicans have mastered the art of weaponizing Democrats' desire for bipartisanship to ever move the football towards fascism. One step further. We can't go up there naive. We got to know the score. And the score is that they use lies and hypocrisy strategically. They know exactly what the hell they're doing. And they're doing it so that while we are trying to keep up with them, they're executing their 50-year agenda. All right, let's get this party started with some content. Where do we begin? What's the first clip I'm going to give you? Let's go with Donald Trump and his rally today. Let's see what this moron was saying.
Then you have my friend, and he's a nice guy, Tony Fauci. He's a nice guy. He said, this is not a threat. This is not a problem. Don't worry about this. Not that one's a problem. It's the craziest thing. Then he said, do not wear a mask. Do not wear a mask under any circumstances. Don't wear a mask. Don't, right? So if we don't wear a mask, then they say, oh, wear a mask. I never saw it. Do you ever see any conflicts? But he's a nice guy, so I keep him around, right? We'll keep him around. He's a Democrat. Everybody knows that. He's Cuomo's friend. Cuomo did the worst job of any governor in the United States. Almost 40,000 people died, more, and 11,000.
Okay, what's there to say about this? Hey, I feel like we got a raid. I saw a super chat saying that we got a raid. So shout out to everyone who came over in the raid, because the raid is more important than what Donald Trump just said, because Donald Trump is most assuredly full of shit. Excuse me to all the saints in the house. I'm just sorry, but listening to him try to make you be concerned with listening to Donald Trump try to force you to be concerned with the 40,000 people who died in New York, but pay no attention to the 217,000 who died. Oh, is that the damage report? The damage report is in the house, coming over from YouTube. I love it. Dragon Squad is rating strong. Thank you all so much. Wow, you guys sent about 300 people over here. This is way more important, way more important than Donald Trump's continuous succession of lies. So everybody in YouTube, welcome folks from my homeboy John. I'm adorable with last names. From John from TYT coming over to raid us. John, if you're in the... I love this. We got a super chat saying John told them they kicked him out of that show and told you to come over here. I'm gonna put that on the screen. And first super chat ever from the Dragon Squad. Hey, we appreciate you. Nothing but love for TYT and my dude John. Always love appearing on his show. Great content. He doesn't need me to promote him because like he's the king of YouTube. But if you don't know John's work, go over to his channel after we're done streaming and check out John's work. All right, real quick, let's go to the next clip. But the most important thing out of that is that Donald Trump is intentionally trying to make you upset about, and this works on his supporters. This is the thing. I think the real thesis for tonight is that we live in two different worlds. They're two different realities. One of them is true, one of them is not, but the other one has crafted this hermetically sealed bubble of nonsense, of a propaganda of lies and distortions in order to protect themselves from the real reality. I think that's like the grand thesis of tonight, because there's a couple of clips that I want to show you where it really just exposes the extent to which these people are willing to go in order to protect their worldview that's not defendable. Let's watch this clip. Actually, I want to go to the clip from Fox News, and I want you to listen to this guy's rhetoric with regard to Black Lives Matter and the potential rise of a tyrant. Listen closely to what I'm saying. He's getting ready to lament and go on a rant about the potential rise of a tyrant because of Black Lives Matter. And remember the thesis that I just gave you for tonight, or the subject for tonight.
You know, what makes the United States great is its ideas, its founding ideas and its processes. That's more important than the outcomes in this country. We've made this great play. We made this play in 1776 by staying true to our ideals, staying true to our processes. It would result in long-term prosperity, but more importantly, Brian, it would protect us from a tyrant that would come along someday. I want you to think about what the Democratic Party has embraced over the past couple of years. By embracing Black Lives Matter, they've rejected some of those ideals like individualism and merit openly. Anybody that doubts that, look at what Black Lives Matter espouses. So rejecting our founding ideas, our ideals. What more, when we look at the rejection of concepts like due process, constitutionalism, you just got a 3-day course in how the left finds their policies more important than constitutional procedure. And when we see that court packing is yet another rejection of that process, Brian, we are rejecting, at least the Democratic Party is, not just our founding ideals, but our processes. And what comes next?
Right.
Why is this so important? What comes next? Brian, this sets us up for a tyrant to come along and take advantage of all of this rejection. Rejection of our ideas, rejection of our processes, no protection when the tyrant comes.
I'm sorry, when the tyrant comes, this guy is living in the alternate universe of Fox News. I know I don't have to play it again, but I just want to play the half of it again. Listen to how he fears an oncoming tyrant with no regard whatsoever, no self-awareness whatsoever. And even if he does have self-awareness, I think it falls into the same category that the hypocrisy is the point. They know full well the tyrant is already here. Listen in.
Black Lives Matter espouses. So rejecting our founding ideas, our ideals. What more, when we look at the rejection of concepts like due process, constitutionalism, you just got a 3-day course in how the left finds their policies more important than constitutional procedure. And when we see that court packing is yet another rejection of that process, Brian, we are rejecting, at least the Democratic Party is, not just our founding ideals, but our processes. And what comes next?
Right.
Why is this so important? What comes next? Brian, this sets us up for a tyrant to come along and take advantage of all of this rejection. Rejection of our ideas, rejection of our processes, no protection when the tyrant comes.
I'm sorry. They live in an alternate universe. There are some people who genuinely believe this. They genuinely believe this, right? But then there are those like Fox News. I don't put it past anybody on Fox News. The person who just went on this rant, he seems so sincere. He seems so earnest about it. He's so concerned about a tyrant that's coming, knowing full and damn well that the tyrant is already here. The person who has no regard for the American institutions is already here. The person who has no regard for the Constitution is already here. The person who would deny us the right for a peaceful transfer of power is already here. The person who will preside over 217,000 deaths is already here. I'm sorry. He knows. He's paid to be stupid. But he knows full and damn well that the tyrant who will destroy this country is already here. But he needs to continuously feed his audience the rhetoric that's necessary to maintain that hermetically sealed bubble, to convince them that the real problem is not the man that got their auntie killed, from COVID-19, and Maymaw killed from COVID-19, and Bertha Jean down the hallway at the nursing home killed of COVID-19. They need to make sure that you fear everyone else, because if you ever had time to concentrate on, pull all that back. I've already said it. I've said it before on this show. Conservatism must have a villain, because if they don't have a villain, that doesn't give you the opportunity to actually find out, oh my God, I don't think I've ever messed up a quote of my own that badly. I'm sleepy. I'm going to try it again. Conservatism. Y'all should roast me in the comment section for that one, because that was horrible. And that was dramatic and just horrible. Let me try it again. End scene. And scene. But I'm so dead serious. I'm dead serious. I can't believe I'm being an idiot over something that is so, this is a really serious point. And I can't stop laughing. But what I'm about to say is so important. But I messed it up so bad that I can't stop laughing at myself. All right, let me get over myself. Here we go. Real talk, all seriousness. Conservatism requires a villain. Because if they don't have a villain, that would give their supporters opportunity to actually think for themselves. And if they ever get a chance to think for themselves, they will discover who the real villain has been all along. This is why it doesn't matter what point in American history you are going to find a consistent succession of villains that are pointed to by this government, by the powers that be, by the ruling elite, in order to keep people from ever looking at the fact that it is the ruling elite in this country who are the real villains. Similarly to this clip, that man knows who the real villain is. That man knows who's responsible for 217,000 deaths. That man knows who's behind the forced separations at the border as an intentional policy, who's behind the forced hysterectomies, sterilizations at the border as a matter of policy. He knows who that is, but they need you to be afraid of Black Lives Matter. Because if you ever have a chance to not be afraid of who they tell you to be afraid of, you would actually look and see that the real villain all this time is not only Donald Trump. I'm not going to give him that much credit. Donald Trump is a villain, but the real villain has been the consistent trend in this country to protect the wealthy, the ruling elite, the oligarchs at all expense. And that cost has always been the vilification of some group, usually a marginalized group. That's the last thing I say. I'm going to play one more clip. I have a bunch of clips. I'm going to go to the next clip. I want to say this. It's amazing to me how rational it is in the minds of these people to blame all of the problems in America on the people with the least power in America. The villains for conservatives are always marginalized groups. Muslims, the LGBTQ community, the Black community, women. I mean, you go back a couple decades, go back half a century or more, and you get to all the other groups they vilify. World War II, the Japanese internment, the bad guys. I mean, at sundry times across American history, Chinese immigrants, the bad guys. The Native Americans. Throughout the entirety of American history, Black Americans have been the bad guys. How does it make sense? I haven't forgotten my opening argument, but I just want to pose the question. How does it make sense for it to be reasonable for a person to look across this country, look across this planet and say, everything that's wrong across this planet is the result of the people who have literally the least amount of power on this planet? That's like going into a household and blaming the chaos on the household on the quietest person in the household. I couldn't really pull that one off because there's nobody I can mention that's not responsible for the chaos in my household. My children are responsible for the chaos in my household. I'm responsible for the chaos. The only person that's like coming to my household and blaming my wife for the chaos in our household. Okay, I had to find somebody to make that analogy complete. All right, let's go into that. I'm messing up all over the place. I don't have enough sleep. But you guys get the point. Even when I'm sleepy and even when I'm messing up, you get what I'm trying to say. Let's go with this next clip. Go.
We're coming together as a country because everything was good. Hispanic Americans, African Americans, Asian Americans, women, people with diplomas, people without diplomas, people with no high school education, PhDs from MIT. Everybody was coming together. And then we had the plague. But that's going to bring us together again because you had your best year in the history of your state. You had the best year last year. The history of your state. You're going to have a better year coming up. This is going to be a better year. And watch your third number. Watch your third quarter. Watch your third quarter. But the radical Democrats will confiscate your guns, destroy your suburbs. I keep hearing about the suburban women. The American dream, it is. I let you have the American dream. I wiped out a regulation that will destroy the suburbs. You know that? You know about that. I wiped it out, right? They don't want to have a project built next to their beautiful house, right?
Wow.
So why is it that the fake news keeps saying that women aren't going to like Trump? I think, you know what women want more than anything else? They want safety, security, and they want to be able to have their houses and leave me alone, right? The suburban woman. And then early on, before I realized it wasn't politically correct, sorry folks, haven't been doing this too long, I said the suburban housewife loves Trump, and they went, by the way, the women, they loved it. Does anybody mind that term? Is that a bad term? You know, the only people that mind it, those people with the cameras. Look at them. Look how innocent they look, and they're not.
I can't. I mean, let's just cut it there. Somebody finish the analogy for me because I wasn't there. Stephanie Samuel said, it's like blaming your 10-year-old child for the fact that your bills aren't paid. Talking about the last conversation. Donald Trump has, we're really at, here's the threshold that we're at this point in this country. It's really the racist against everybody else. Like, this ragtag coalition of people that we built, and it's only ragtag because most of us at the end of the day, we probably aren't going to get along after Joe Biden gets elected because we disagree on a lot, and that's okay. But we banded together a group of people who have said, you know what, this is enough. We have had long enough in this country to deal with the problems that existed before Donald Trump, that were not fixed by any previous president, and Donald Trump came along and capitalized on it. But the thing that we are tired of, this coalition, we're simply tired of someone looking at all of the wounds in this country and pouring salt into it. Donald Trump is a master of this much. He knows how to find your weakness and exploit it and pour salt into an open wound and inflame it and make it as painful as he possibly can. That's why Adam Serwer over at The Atlantic coined his seminal article, "The cruelty is the point." It literally is. Donald Trump, his MO, the way he operates is to find the softest point on you and to twist the knife in that wound until you surrender. He did it through the primaries with the Republican Party in 2016. That's how he won. He was the cruelest person on the stage. He would exploit. He would find the weakness, as a sociopath does, and he would twist the knife in it. He did it with Hillary Clinton. That's how he won. The problem is people were like, well, he's clearly not good. I mean, he's just campaigning. He's not going to do this to America. For the last 4 years, we have had every day after the other, one day after the other, of Donald Trump doing exactly the same thing. And that is exploiting and inflaming the wounds of this country. And I put it that way simply because of this. When Donald Trump is gone, racism is still going to be here. Income inequality is still going to be here. There are going to be problems with police brutality, the police state. There are going to be problems with Wall Street. All those problems are going to still be here. But we can't begin to fix those problems. We can't even begin to make headway on those problems because we have a sociopath in the White House right now who is trying to inflame those problems. Every single one. This is what he's doing in this clip. In this clip, he's talking about, you don't want those poor people coming to move in next to you. You know, we want to protect the suburban housewives. The little data that Donald Trump is responding to here, I want to explain to you that, yes, this is a dog whistle, but let me show you how this is a dog whistle, a racist dog whistle. The data that Donald Trump is responding to here, he's consistently, every time he's talking about the suburban housewives. The data doesn't say anything about suburban housewives. The data says that Donald Trump has fell behind with suburban white women. Literally, poll after poll shows that Donald Trump has lost specifically suburban white women. How does he try to get suburban white women back? By finding a soft spot that they may have for racism and driving his knife into that wound and twisting it until he can stir up the fear in them about poor people and minorities moving to that community and ruining their American dream. He is a master of finding your Achilles heel and just jabbing at it. And I think for once, America is starting, all of us, everyone who has enough common sense to realize the kind of threat that Donald Trump is. We are all collectively saying, as much as we may disagree with each other, we all agree that this type of sociopathy will destroy our country. Sure, there's about 40% of this country, of the voting electorate, that still loves Donald Trump. But there are going to always be sociopaths among us. There are going to always be cruel people among us. There are going to always be people among us who get joy out of our misery. We can't stop that. They will always be here. But what we have to do is to maintain this ragtag coalition of people who normally don't agree with each other. And quite frankly, in the primaries, some of y'all would have hated my guts. And I probably wouldn't have been too fond of you either. But we see at this juncture, what Donald Trump has done over the last 4 years has wounded America in every spot where we already had an open wound and we still had unfinished business. And we are not able to make progress on any of those because he is inflaming the situation quite literally. Let's see what y'all are talking about. My man Ben Smeeks on Facebook, he said, I would rather fight neoliberalism than fight fascism. And such is the nature of this coalition. Everybody on YouTube, you should, and let me know if you don't. On YouTube, you should certainly have the ability to block someone for yourself. So you control that power. There's no single way to block everybody, block a person on the channel who's spamming, but you have the ability to click on them and block them yourself. Thank you, Nikki. All right, let's move on to the next piece. I do want to pull this one clip I've already played because I talked about the B side of this clip on Fox News. I gotta catch it. He said something about individualism, and I can't let that slide without addressing it. Take a listen in just to the first part of this clip again.
You know, what makes the United States great is its ideas, its founding ideas and its processes. That's more important than the outcomes in this country. We've made this great play. We made this play in 1776 by staying true to our ideals, staying true to our processes. It would result in long-term prosperity, but more importantly, Brian, it would protect us from a tyrant that would come along someday. I want you to think about what the Democratic Party has embraced over the past couple of years. By embracing Black Lives Matter, they've rejected some of those ideals like individualism and merit openly. Anybody that doubts that, look at what Black Lives Matter.
Yes, I'm going to start. Let's start here. I talk about that all the time on this show. If America was really, if the world, right? I can't worry about everybody on the planet, but I do want to be inclusive. If everybody on the face of this planet, if every system of power on this planet was actually based on merit, that would be one thing. But we are not a meritocracy in no form or fashion. Not when people are born with all the opportunities in the world. They have the ability to make millions of dollars of mistakes and still be able to thrive. They have poor performance, but their father has given to the endowment at this university, and they can get into any university they want to, not because of their merit, but because of their position, their caste. Okay, so if America was actually a meritocracy, that would be one thing. But even if we were a meritocracy, that still does not justify the individualistic religion that is taught in this country. Every man for himself. It's necessary for them to preach that dogma, and then they try to wrap it in the veneer of individualism. But at the end of the day, what they're saying is we want individualism because we don't want any responsibility to the collective good. Because if we have any responsibility to the collective good, that means that we have to sacrifice something. We're going to, if nothing else, we have to pay more in taxes. And we certainly don't want to do that. Or if we had responsibility to the collective good, then we wouldn't be able to get away with making everyone think that we have a meritocracy, when in actuality, my granddaddy actually helped me get this position at Fox News. My dad, my uncle, the country club that we attend got me this position on Fox News. So it is a level of indoctrination that is a way of keeping the masses docile. You tell everybody that the reason you're poor is because you just didn't work hard enough. Never mind the fact that the people who work the hardest in this country, without question, are the people who make the least in this country. At every organization, the people who work the hardest are the people who make the least. And this is the nature of our sociopathic system. And so when he says Black Lives Matter rejects individualism, I can't speak for Black Lives Matter because I'm not a part of any of the official organizations. But I will tell you, you absolutely damn right we reject individualism, because we have a responsibility to each other. And that is, quite frankly, the only way we are going to survive, not only as individuals, not only collectively as a nation, but quite frankly, as a species. We are going to destroy ourselves. The greed and individualism that is at the heart of this system is a cancerous, rotting, festering plague on humanity, and it will absolutely destroy us without question. We are living, folks, we are living in the truth, in that truth. Individualism is going to destroy us. It is currently destroying us because every man is out for himself. Every individual is out for themselves. The reason folks can't bring themselves. Here's how you know the hardest working people are the ones that make the least. Essential workers are the ones whose lives are on the line right now. And they don't make any money. They're risking their lives, quite literally, for sometimes $7 an hour plus $1 hazard pay extra. So for $8 an hour, they're risking their lives. While management, all of us in the middle class, and most certainly the elite and the wealthy and the millionaires are sitting at home, making money off of whatever they do from home, including me. I'm sitting home safe and secure from COVID-19. The essential workers who make less money than all of us. Unless you're an essential worker, obviously, they are the ones who are working the hardest and risking the most. To compound that, you've got people, I got to compound it because it's a twofer. You've got people in this country who have the opportunity to stay home and mitigate the risk and to shorten the span of this virus. And quite frankly, help preserve the safety and the lives of the essential workers. But they are so individualistic. They are so preoccupied with their own individual pleasure and entertainment They're so preoccupied with whatever was important in their life pre-COVID, they couldn't sacrifice it for the collective good, not even for 2 damn weeks. And so not only are we working, our essential workers in a hazardous situation, they're getting paid the least amount of money to do the most dangerous work right now, but we are too selfish in this country to actually stay home even on their behalf. So when he says Black Lives Matter rejects the ideas of individualism and merit, you're goddamn right. Absolutely right. Because individualism is getting us killed right now. It has been getting us killed in the past. It is currently getting us killed in the present, and it most certainly will destroy us in the future. And merit. I don't want a single country club going white person in this country, or black person for that matter, to talk to me about merit. All the essential workers in the audience, stand up, wave your hands, say something. Identify yourself. I want everybody to give some love and a shout out to everyone who is watching, who is an essential worker, who is putting their life on the line, who has put their lives on the line every day, day in, day out. Raise your hand if you're an essential worker, and everybody give them love while I talk to my producer, who only calls in case of emergency. Awesome. A lot of love going around the room. I appreciate you all. Show a kindness. We take time to do that. We show a kindness here. While you do that, I want to read some comments from Super Chat and from all the different platforms while you are showing somebody some love. We can't take it for granted. And also, can I say this? Can I say this? As you show them love, I'm going to ask, if you are in my audience and you have the opportunity to stay your ass at home, but you have not been because you just got to go out and get some Hooters, wings. That's a chain in the South. You just got to go out and play some poker. You just got to go out and get you a drink. The real way you can show kindness to essential workers is to keep your ass at home. So show them some kindness in the chat room, but also show them some kindness by staying at home. David, make sure that that's in the drive. I think it is. Yeah, I see it. Okay. I'm looking for super chat notifications. Here we go. Let's begin thinking, oh man, a lot of super chats. I've missed so many. Here we go. Smack Talk 94. Thank you for gifting a tier 1 sub. You have gifted 12 subs. Y'all show Smack Talk some love. He has brought 12 people into the family as a supporter. My producer Jake says, love your neighbor as yourself. Absolutely. Jake, thank you for that. Murphaline converted from a Prime Gaming sub to a tier 1 sub. Thank you for that. Kevin Moses, me and Kevin go way back to like when I was playing the organ at church back a whole nother lifetime ago. Said capitalist media, talking about MSNBC and NBC, capitalist media will always care more about their bottom line than any ethical concerns, MSNBC and all NBC affiliates included. Right. And I said that. I know a lot of people who are watching this are pro MSNBC, but I think you saw on full display tonight how they will sell out the greater good for their own individualistic gain. People of color discourse, POC discourse. Hello, Ben. My name is LJM and sending this regarding your ice cream comment last night. I'm a disabled black man and I had some tough times with family as well, but I've made it through and glad you did as well. Thank you. POC, I appreciate the super chat. And I just want to make sure everybody is clear. Like, I'm doing fine now. That was like 2 years ago, where like all my opportunities had collapsed and things were just going really bad. I actually was on unemployment. The reason I fight so hard for the working class is because I've been working class all my life. Okay. I've been working class all my life up until the time I got rid of Michael Bloomberg. Then I got rid of Michael Bloomberg, and I finally got into the lower middle class. And now that I figured out how to do YouTube, I might be in the middle class or upper middle class one day. I'm still climbing up that ladder. We'll talk about that later. Thank you, but thank you. I'm going to buy my kids some ice cream with that, and I appreciate the love and the solidarity. I really do. Obi-Mom Kenobi. I just want to say, that's the flyest name yet. Obi-Mom Kenobi. And I was able to read it despite not being able to read most Twitch handles. Obi-Mom Kenobi 7 is gifting 5 tier 1 subs to my community. They brought in a whole gang of people. Thank you so much for those subs. Jason Kid, thank you for the super sticker. Franco said, love from John Iodorola. Raid, I was coming here anyways. You the man. Thank you for everyone in the Dragon Squad. I didn't know that's what you call yourselves. Over here, my show, we've always called ourselves the Progressive Army. So the Dragon Squad has teamed up with the Progressive Army, and we're partying. We're having a good time tonight. Very special welcome to Adrian Harrington. Thank you so much for the super sticker. Christopher Benson said, the most 2020 thing that could happen would be for Biden. Nope. Christopher, I appreciate that super chat, but I can't read that out loud. I can't speak that into the atmosphere. I'm sorry. You can either call me too religious or too superstitious, but we need Joe Biden to go the distance. Okay. But I do want to recognize your super chat. HI says, Dragon Squad love, Ben. I always learn and grow listening to your insight on this crazy world we are living in. Thank you, HI. I really appreciate that. That means a lot. Brianna says, I lose brain cells every time I watch Fox. I lose brain cells every time. Anyway, let me stop. Thank you for the super chat. Tanika22, she says she loves my commentary with the dragon symbol. So I'm assuming she's part of the Dragon Squad. Thank you for coming in on the raid from John's channel and sending super chats. You guys not only come, but you bring gifts when you come. How dope is that? Jonathan Tipton Myers, thank you for the super chat. It says reverse projection, talking about Fox News and Republicans and conservatives, how they know what they're doing and they're projecting what they're doing on us. Absolutely. Could not agree more, Jonathan. Trina Photo cheered. Thank you for the bits. CA70s cheered. Thank you for the bits. Nicole Dupuis, thank you for the super sticker. Tipton sent another super chat. Thank you. He said it's called gaslighting. I mean, I got so many feelings about gaslighting and gaslighters. You're absolutely right. He sent it twice. Quasita said on YouTube said, they realized that the person they felt confirmation in is also the evil they claim to be against. The horizon is lit. Reality has soured, I hope. I just want to read it again because I massacred it. Quasita said, they realized that the person they felt confirmation in is also the evil they claim to be against. The horizon is lit. Reality has soured, I hope. I hope you're right. I from your lips to the universe's ears. Say, S.A. Lionette cheered. Thank you for all the cheers. David Rodriguez, keep speaking truth. Appreciate the show. Support from Tampa, Florida. Oh, everybody give David a hand. I'll be so dramatic. Thank you, David. Tampa's in the house. I partied quite a bit in Tampa in my single years. It was always just, you used to take the Beeline connector from, what city was that? Blue Heron Boulevard, right? So you go to West Palm Beach, you go north a little bit, you catch the B9 collector, it takes you right to Tampa Bay, you can party and come back before the sun is up. We did it a lot. Allie Bean, thank you for the super chat or the super sticker. Christy Beasley, thank you for the super sticker. And just thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it. Christy Beasley, thank you again for another super sticker. Nefty Barriqua, we could always count on some dope commentary from Nefty Barriqua on Twitch. Said individualism is a social psychological term that refers to the ways in which people identify themselves and focus their goals. Individualism, which is the opposite of collectivism, gives priority to personal goals as opposed to the goals of a group or society. Absolutely. I think in some cases, in some instances, obviously you have to be concerned with yourself. We're not looking for a totalitarian society where everyone sacrifices themselves in every aspect imaginable for the collective good, which is in a totalitarian society defined as the good of the government or the good of the state, more specifically, the good of the dictator and the ruling regime. I reject that as much as I reject fascism, as much as I reject individualism, right? It's not about you becoming a blank cog in a machine for a totalitarian society, sacrificing all of your individual goals for a collective good as I defined it, which is really what's in the best interest of the dictator and the ruling party. No, we fully reject that. It's about saying that there are some parts of my life that I'm absolutely willing to reject the greed. If you want to know what part of your life I'm talking about, I'm saying reject greed. It's a simple truth, but beyond powerful. I don't say reject greed to people who ain't got nothing. I would not dare look at poor people and say, be satisfied with what you have. Absolutely not. If you don't have a baseline of living where you're not fearing for how to pay your rent or where you're even going to sleep that night. Let's start there. People who don't even know where they're going to sleep. How dare we look at people who have nothing and tell them to be satisfied? But I can tell you one of the most convincing messages that you will get in church is telling people to be satisfied with nothing. Now, I have learned to abase, I've learned to abound. I have suffered want and I've had plenty. I've learned in all things therein to be content. The Apostle Paul, I know the Bible good enough to challenge anybody who's trying to push back on what I'm saying. It's not about rejecting satisfaction for the sake of inner peace. I'm saying it is absolutely ludicrous for anyone who has more than enough to look at somebody who doesn't have enough and tell them to be satisfied. The people who need to be satisfied are the people who have more than enough. People who have an abundance. People who can't even spend all the money they made in a day. They can't spend it in a lifetime. And yet it's never enough. And so when I say the simple principle that helps us to not be so individualistic that we sacrifice the greater good of the collective body, is to reject greed. There are more principles, but that's the core one. If you got enough, reject the temptation to take everything else. And that is the twisted mentality that our entire system is built on. Everybody, it has become pop culture for everyone to want an empire. Yeah, me and my girl, we built an empire. You know what I mean? We built an empire. But I gotta remember I have a mixed audience. Pam over in Taiwan, I almost dropped the N-word again. I got to remind myself we got mixed company. I love all y'all. Come to the morning show where it's anyway, I digress. You ain't about to build no empire. What you're about to do is play your role in an oppressive system that is going to exploit you down to the last dollar and is going to continue to exploit people who have even less than you because you maintain this mindset of individualism and get everything that you can get money or die trying. You're not building an empire. An empire is building itself at your expense. Reject greed. We have to learn to be satisfied at some point, because if we don't, we are going to continuously fuel this system that ultimately destroys us at the end. All of us middle class people, they train us like Pavlov's dog to want, get, upgrade. You know, get the latest iPhone, get the latest kicks, get the latest clothing, get this spring collection from 2021. Forget about the spring collection that you just got in 2020. Get the newest collection, get the newest car, get the newest everything. And they have us chasing something that can never be satisfied. Our desires Our want, our lust for more can never be satisfied. But we constantly preach as a matter of Protestant work ethic and nobility and some sense of, I don't know, why people constantly preach down to people who literally have nothing and say, be satisfied. No. Everyone in this country deserves a baseline living because we create enough wealth to do that. But we can't do that. We cannot provide a baseline of living in this country for everybody because everybody generates all the wealth in this country. I go through it every single night. Everything that you do contributes to the wealth in this country. Everything that you do. Watching this stream. It is watching this stream right now is literally generating money. Not for me outside of the super chats. Super chats, yes, thank you. I appreciate that. But I'm not getting paid ad revenue from YouTube right now. I'm not getting paid ad revenue from Facebook right now. I don't really know how Twitch works, so I think maybe you do have to watch an ad before you come here, right? So Twitch might be there. But in general, you are generating wealth watching this stream primarily for Google, Twitter, Twitch, and Amazon. So if anyone ever tells you that you are looking for a handout, no, they don't make their money without your participation. They don't make their money without you watching these videos. They don't make their money without you giving them your labor. They don't make their money without you giving them your consumption. The government doesn't make its money without taxing you. I don't care if you pay income tax. I don't care if you get a tax refund at the end of every single year. Your local, state, property, sales tax, tickets, all of those are taxes. So in every way, I go through this every night because I want you to believe it, hear it, and repeat it. In every way imaginable, you personally contribute to the wealth that is created in this country. That said, everyone in this country not only deserves, but they have earned a baseline of living where everyone can have enough. But the reason we can't do that is because there's a group of people who just gotta have it all. And because some people have to have it all, so many more people can never have enough. They can't have enough because everything has been concentrated into this one group. When we've created a system where everyone could have enough. All right. Thank you, Nefti Barika. Y'all be saying stuff and then just my mind just be going on a tangent. Let's keep going. Let me read some more. I hate life more. Well, we love you, man. Solidarity. Thank you for the £5. Nicole Dupuis sent another super sticker. Thank you. H.T. Wells says, our favorite oligarch slayer. That's me. We slayed, anyway, y'all know who we slayed. I got to say it. Zoltar the Magnificent. I love that name. Love the essential workers. You deserve safety and a fair wage. No on California Proposition 22. Absolutely. If you're in California, don't let the commercials fool you. Vote no on Proposition 22. I know Proposition 22 is running ads on my podcast. Somebody emailed me and told me about this earlier this week. And, you know, originally I was going to say to the platform to take those ads down. But if they're listening to my show, they already know not to vote. Yes, they're going to vote no on Proposition 22. So the way I see it is let them spend the money to come hear my show. And then that message is counteracted anyway. So the point is vote no on Proposition 22 if you're in California. Robbie Soul sent some love to Obi Mom for the win, giving some love. Cross-platform love. I think Obi Mom was in Twitch. This is love from YouTube. Robert Owens says, hey, you. Thank you for the super sticker. Infinite Content said, Ben, I can't get to the dentist or docs because people need their medications and docs and dentists aren't open when I'm off. I'm about to break. Oh, man. Hit me up on Twitter. Hit my DMs. Gail Hafner, thank you for the super sticker. Jonathan Tipton said, there's a difference between a racist and a sociopath. Cruelty is a punch in the face meant to stun, but it's not personal. Response, punch back. Yeah, I think the response to both groups is to punch back. Madison Griffin coming over from the raid, from the damage report, saying this one is for the Dragon Squad. Thank you for bringing love and gifts with you. Stratton DeJournette. She said, while I'm a fan of you, I can't agree with Biden saying he agrees with 8-year transition. There's reason 8. Okay, I had to reread it. You're talking about that. Okay. While I'm a fan of you, I can't agree with Biden saying he agrees with an 8-year-old transition. There's a reason an 8-year-old can't vote or pick school clothes. I'm not 100% sure what you're talking about. I have an inkling of what you're talking about. So if you want to follow up to give me more information, that's cool. Debbie the Bernie Bro sent in some love saying, Tampa here too. Yay, lightning. Wow, y'all are blowing up these super chats tonight. My God. Environmental Coffee House said, be my guest and talk about climate change with me on my channel and your views in the environment. I would love it. Sandy said, yeah, so please holla at David or Jake. They are moderating over on YouTube and they'll connect you so that I can come on. I'm more than happy to come on anybody's podcast, no matter how big, no matter how small. That's completely immaterial. If you want to talk, as you can see, I can do a whole lot of talking. Chris Nesbitt said, Ben, always enjoy your appearances on the damage report. Keep testifying. Thank you, my friend. And the Beaver of Wall says, Adrian Perkins or Antoine Pence for Louisiana Senate. Who's progressive? Hashtag Dragon Squad. I'm not even going to front. I honestly am not familiar enough with that particular race to give you some insight. I'm too busy watching Amy McGrath and Jamie Harrison go up against those two, South Carolina and Kentucky. And of course, I'm watching the races in Georgia that are going on in Georgia. John Ossoff and Pastor Raphael Warnock. They're going up against Republicans Kelly Loeffler and David Perdue. But unfortunately, I haven't been immersed enough in the Louisiana race to give you some meaningful information there. Whew, we caught up. You guys are busy tonight. Thanks for the love. Let's go to a new clip. I have a clip of Van Jones. And let me see if it's in the folder yet. It should be. Actually, I need to refresh the folder. And Van Jones is talking about court packing. I am not really sure what he's saying here, but I have a very strong opinion on court packing. So let's see if I agree with him or if I don't. This should be interesting. This just took place on Chris Cuomo's show.
So, Van, court packing, I keep getting accused of it being a distraction question. I'm doing the work for the GOP for them only in this bizarro world. Is that a kind of accusation that lands these days? But I don't get the reasoning behind not answering the question. Yeah. All he has to say is no. Or, you know what? I'm going to hold it over Mitch McConnell's head. Because if I win, I need to get some judges passed, and he's going to try to do to me what he did to Obama, and I'm going to hold this over his head. Let's see how he behaves. Because this time, he's going to pay if he plays dirty. Either answer works, but this answer, no good.
Yeah, D- on that answer. There's just no way around it. And now he's put himself in this opposition where he says he's going to wait until some other date. I guess what he's saying is that he's holding out some hope that they won't nominate this new justice if he continues to play this game. It doesn't make any sense. None of it makes any sense. And so I think the reality is the Democrats are very angry and upset because at every level of the government right now, it feels like the deck is kind of stacked against us. We got 2 Supreme Court justice seats that we don't feel were given to Republicans fairly. You feel like the Electoral College stacks the deck against Democrats. You feel like the Senate's got the filibuster, all these different things, the gerrymandering. There's so much pent-up frustration that Democrats are feeling that this issue of being able to pack the court has become a teddy bear for a lot of Democrats to hug onto at night, and he doesn't want to take the teddy bear away. But I think he's hurting his own brand by not doing it. I think it's better for him just to come forward and say, that's not my brand of politics, I'm not going to do it, or to your point, say he's going to use it as a bargaining chip. But right now, I think he's hurting his brand.
Folks, let me tell you something. Amy Coney Barrett will be the bane of our existence for the next 30 to 40 years, depending on how healthy she is. Now, I'm going to give you guys 2020. I'm going to hold my peace for a little while longer. I've got how many days before this election? 15. So I've got 18 days before this election. How many days in this month? I've got 19 days. In a few minutes, it'll be 18 days before this election. Between now and then, I am going to be peaceable. Because we got to beat Donald Trump. Because if we don't beat Donald Trump, it's not going to be just Amy Coney Barrett that's going to be the bane of our existence. It's going to be the next 3 justices that he picks that's going to be the bane of our existence. So I'm going to be kind. I'm not going to go too ham on this. But I just want to make something extremely clear. If this current batch of Democrats are not up to the task of fighting against Republicans with the same intensity that Republicans fight for the wrong, if this batch of Democrats are not up to the task of taking on Republicans for the right reasons, the same way Republicans undermine us for the wrong reasons, then they are not fit to lead us. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to go any further. I'm going to leave it alone. But no, that's not. I'm going to say one more thing. Very directly. Expanding the court is well within the acceptable parameters of our American institutions. It has been done before. It will be done again. And I guarantee you, Republicans will do the exact same thing. They're saying, oh, I can't believe Democrats. If they don't expand the courts, everything that we have fought for the last century will be struck down decision by these most assuredly 2 illegitimate justices. Gorsuch, who should have been Merrick Garland, and Amy Coney Barrett. Because based on the precedent that they set, they should not be hosting these confirmation hearings right now. That said, they outmaneuvered you, Democrats. You have to have the backbone enough to rectify the situation. And if you can't do it, we will send people up there that will. I'm going to give you the next 18 days. And I'm going to be kind because I need everybody watching this to go out and vote. It's at the bottom of your screen, vote.org. Go make sure you got your ballot. Make sure you know your location. Make sure go check everything. Everybody, all hands on deck. Get you a gas mask. Put on a hazmat suit. Make sure you social distance. Take you a bottle of alcohol spray. Just put a little spray cap on a bottle of alcohol and spray it in the air every time you move forward. Just psst. That's what I'm going to do. I'm just going psst. Every time I take a step forward. Psst, psst. And then if the wind is blowing the opposite direction, I'm going to be blowing it behind me. I might get in a fight because I might hit somebody in the eye with some alcohol. I don't care. Whatever you got to do to vote safely, we got to vote this man out of office. We got to. We have to. Because we can't begin to fix the damage if he's in for another 4 years. I want to see what you guys say about packing the courts. Absolutely, Ben. If Trump wins again, there's a real possibility he'll get nominations 4 and 5. Absolutely will. Alyssa Burdick says, voted. Love it. I'm going to put this on the screen because I don't disagree. When your agenda is to restrict the rights of people that you disagree with based on your religious dogma, you're not righteous. You're evil. Period. They use those same distinctions to vilify Islam. And while I don't like using Islam as a way to highlight the problems of Christian fundamentalism, the analog clearly is Sharia law, Christian Sharia law. That's what they're going for. They're going for theocracy. They're going for the exact thing they try to make you afraid of in Islam. Oh, they know that. Because the hypocrisy is the point. We can't point that out to them and all of a sudden they'll be like, oh, wow, I can't believe it. You're absolutely right. I've been a hypocrite this whole time. They know that what they're going for in America is the Christian analog of Sharia law. Just reading some more of your comments. Yep, I want to see how you feel about it. Pack the courts, pack the courts. Expanded. Blackberry said expanded with a mandate. Galfer, are you saying toss up? I'm wondering if you meant toss up. Packing the courts is a toss up for me. I see somebody else from the Dragon Squad. Love it. Thank you for being here. Yep, there it is, Letty. We have to win the Senate. If Biden doesn't win, McConnell will pack it now, but to make sure he can never catch up on Supreme Court justices. You better believe it. You better believe it. If they have the opportunity, they will pack it so that there is a permanent conservative majority on this bench for the rest of our lifetimes. And I'm sorry, we got to fight fire with fire. We desperately need people. Horrible. It's not a horrible comparison, but it's kind of niche. Anybody watch Star Wars in the audience? I know you do. Revenge of the Sith. Actually, not even just it, the prequels. Jedi Master Mace Windu. And Mace Windu, as he began to explain why he was a Jedi Master, was because he walks dangerously close to the dark side. And he draws strength from walking dangerously close to the dark side, but never goes over the edge to the dark side. I know that was for a small group of people. But if we don't get people who are willing to fight for what is right, for what is just, what is good, what is noble, what is worthy, and willing to fight so hard that they stand the verge, on the line, they stand right there on the precipice of falling over into the dark side, into the monster that they are trying to fight. If we don't get people who are willing to fight that hard for what is right, and what is good, what is just, what is worthy, and what is noble, then we're never going to win. We can't apologize for fighting viciously against a vicious enemy. In fact, we are justified. We cannot be sheep to the slaughter. We can't continuously back down because it scares us. It's going to scare you. This fight, I'm talking about rhetorically. I'm talking about through our institutions. I'm talking about strategically. I'm talking about I'm talking about everywhere, every way. In every way, they have undermined us over the last 60 years. If we're not willing to walk dangerously close to the dark side and fight them back, fire with fire, intensity with intensity. I know a lot of people are going to disagree with this, but that's fine. That's cool. But I've been around long enough, and I've seen how malevolently people with nefarious intentions fight us. And if all we can do is sit around and hope that we can appeal to their greater humanity, what's going to inevitably happen is that they're going to seize power. And while we're still trying to appeal to their greater humanity, they have mastered the art of suppressing their greater humanity. They have mastered the art of suppressing their integrity. That question and that feeling, that nagging sensation in the back of your head about justice, they killed that a long time ago. You will be, I'm going to say something that's going to be, that you're going to think I'm being hyperbolic. Today at that same rally, Donald Trump bragged, literally bragged. I'm going to play it. Before I even finish this thought, I'm going to go get it off Twitter and I'm going to play it. Donald Trump literally bragged about killing a man that he politically disagreed with, Michael Reinhold. I talk about him all the time, and I believe I'm probably going to talk about him the rest of my life. Because I didn't know him, no. But I know what happened. Because Donald Trump has bragged about it. Not once, not twice, not 3 times, not 4 times. This is the 5th time. This is the 5th time that Donald Trump has bragged about sending federal agents to take out a political protester who defended himself at a protest against a white supremacist. His name was Michael Reinhold. He shot a man, killed the man, and he said he did it in self-defense. And he got his attorney, and he was ready to go and have his day in court to prove that it was self-defense. Donald Trump did not give him his day in court. Donald Trump sent in federal agents, and they killed him. They killed him in broad daylight. They gunned him down in a fury of bullets. And all the witnesses who saw it say that this man had no gun. He had nothing but candy in his hand or a drink in his hand, and they gunned him down. And it looked to everyone who saw it as if it was a retaliation murder. Donald Trump today bragged about this publicly for the 4th time. Listen to what he said.
We sent in the U.S. Marshals. Took 15 minutes, it was over. 15 minutes, it was over. We got him. They knew who he was. They didn't want to arrest him. In 15 minutes, that ended. Anyway, and they called themselves peaceful protesters.
I'm going to play it again. Listen to what he says. They knew who he was, and they didn't want to arrest him. Listen in.
We sent in the U.S. Marshals. Took 15 minutes, it was over. 15 minutes, it was over. We got him. They knew who he was. They didn't want to arrest him. In 15 minutes. They knew who he was. They didn't want to arrest him. They knew who he was. They didn't want to arrest him. In 15 minutes, that ended.
That was Michael Reinhold. He was a leftist. He was a comrade. He was a protester. And he defended one of his friends who happened to be a minority, a person of color. He defended that person against the white supremacists, and he killed a man. And he was ready to go to trial with his attorneys to face his day in court like every one of us is due. And Donald Trump sent in a man to kill him. I want you to have that context when I say what I'm getting ready to say so that you don't think I'm just being dramatic. We're dealing with people who have suppressed their humanity so much so that they could literally brag about an extrajudicial execution, and they laugh and clap and they celebrate it. And when I say we have to have people who are willing to fight back just as hard as they're fighting against us, I say that specifically because if our only tactic of fighting back is to appeal to these people's greater humanity, they have suppressed that greater humanity so much so that you will be on your knees in front of their firing squad, begging for your life, still trying to appeal to their humanity, the humanity that they sacrificed a long time ago. They have been reveling in this cruelty for a very long time. And we can't win this fight by trying to negotiate with them, by trying to appeal to their greater sensibilities and their greater humanity. I'm not saying that we pick up guns and go to war with them, but I'm saying at a bare minimum, you gotta be willing to pack the damn courts when they have went through every machination and every manipulation and violated every norm and institution imaginable in order to get their advantage, with which they're not going to be satisfied simply having a majority. They want that power to do something specific. And what they want to do specifically is to repeal the entirety of the 20th century. That has been their plan. Every progressive cause and victory that we have in the 20th century, from labor rights to Brown versus the Board of Education, to the Civil Rights Act and the Voting Rights Act, respectively, to affirmative action, to Obergefell versus Hodges, to Roe versus Wade. Can't believe I skipped that in the timeline. Every single victory that we have gotten for progress in the 20th century, they are going to leverage the power of the court to completely erase it. We cannot win this by trying to expose their hypocrisy to them, because the hypocrisy is the point. We cannot win this by trying to appeal to their greater humanity, because they have suppressed it. We cannot win this by trying to be the better person, because they believe that they are righteous and have been ordained by God. They think that you are a heathen, a scoundrel, and an infidel. They feel as if they have been ordained by God to restore this country to its original theocratic intention. So if we don't get people who are willing to fight these monsters as viciously and ferociously as they fight us, to fight for what is good as diligently and dogmatically as they fight for what's bad, I understand. Trust me, nobody knows better than me that this brings you terrifyingly close to crossing over the event horizon of your darkest side. It really does. It will push us to the possibility of becoming the very monster that we oppose. But we have to be able to fight with that level of intensity and not lose our souls. Because if we don't fight it with that level of intensity, then we're going to lose everything that we've ever fought for. Let's see if I'm missing. I got plenty of other clips and I'm exhausted, y'all. I am exhausted, but I just can't. He said the Reinhold clip is in the drive. Let me see. No, I'm paying attention. I'm watching my producers. My producers are Johnny on the spot. Can y'all give some love to my three producers, different roles, but all of them are equally important. Max, who does research. David, who does all the editing and clipping of videos, and Jake, who does both research and editing. Y'all just give them some love for me while I pull up this clip that they just put in the Dropbox for me. Let me refresh the drive. Hang on, what is this one? Uses the logic of death squads. Is that the one? Is this a fuller version? Let's see how long this one is.
15 minutes.
Okay, it's a second.
And the man that shot 15.
Okay, all right, I see. Okay, I just wanted to double check and see if there was more context to it. All right. Another clip, and then we get out of here. I don't know. Let me pause and say this while I decide what I want to talk about next, because I have like 6 clips and I don't know which way I want to go. My producer, Jake, is doing a video, or he's done a video that shows him doing some phone banking. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I get anxiety. You won't believe me, but I swear to God, I get anxiety when I talk to people. When I talk to people one-on-one. You could put me in front of an audience of 10,000 people and I'm Gucci. I'm good. Like, that's my time to shine. But you ask me to go and speak to somebody one-on-one and I'm going to need a couple drinks. That's just me personally. I think there's a lot of people who are probably the opposite of me. Most people are like, oh yeah, I could talk to one person, but don't ask me to get on stage with 10,000. I want to speak to you who are okay talking to people one-on-one. My producer, Jake, has done a video and we're editing it down and we're going to make it a part of, we're going to share it tomorrow. But it's a video of him doing a phone call to a former Republican and a person who was undecided, who's an undecided voter right now. And he talked to her for about 30 minutes. And in that 30-minute conversation, he was able to help her realize some things that she didn't even know. She didn't know that Republicans were going to repeal the Affordable Care Act. And there were so many other things that she simply didn't know. And she felt like having the conversation with him was enlightening and brought her closer to actually voting for Joe Biden. I'm going to share that clip. And then one of the reasons he did it and one of the reasons we want to share it is because we're in the home stretch here. And it's going to take excitement that, quite frankly, a lot of us just don't have for Joe Biden. But it's going to take the effort and the work that we all know how to do. So if you are comfortable and you're willing to take the chance, I tell you what I do. I'm getting anxiety even about to make this promise. Jesus Christ. Don't say it, Ben, because then I might have to do it. God damn it. All right. If you have anxiety talking to one person at a time like I do, I will make a deal with you. I will do one. And if you do one. Now, if you choose not to do one, just let me know so I don't have to go do it myself. But for everyone else who doesn't suffer that kind of anxiety, and it's nothing to you, we're going to have a list of websites. There's plenty of websites out there. I know you can go to Biden's website and get information on phone banking, but you can also go to other organizations. Swing Left. I believe it's swingleft.org. I'm sure he'll correct me. Jake and David, put those links in the comment section now. Go there and they will teach you how to do some phone banking. It is the last minute. But the biggest and the most important thing is pushing people out. And sometimes people just need that last push. So go to these organizations and just push somebody to go out to the polls and to go vote early even. And I think it will be rewarding. And I'm going to share that video. I'm going to share that video tomorrow or Saturday when we're done editing it down. That said, there's one other thing that I want to talk about before we get out of here. We still have like 1,600 people in the room, which is totally dope. Hi, Susie Foreman over on Twitch. Thank you for being here. Della Garza, thank you for hanging out with me. I don't even want to talk about Ice Cube, Yodelez 15. I'm not going to talk about Ice Cube on today's episode, what we're doing right now. But if you want to know my opinion on Ice Cube, you could go watch the morning show that I do with my homeboys, Marcus Farrell and Mundell Robinson. It's called Clickbaity Political Thirst Trap. Hell of a name. But we talked about the entire show. We talked about Ice Cube. Marfalin says, I have anxiety talking to people on the phone, even folks I know. Yeah, I don't do well on the phone. Okay. Last but not least, I want to talk about something really simple. Tully. Yeah, Mundell is my dude. Mundell is my dude, and Marcus, they're my dudes. And I'm always glad to get up extra early in the morning, even though I go to sleep late at night, to do the morning show with them, because it's really dope. It's a totally different vibe. Let me just warn you now. Don't come to the morning show expecting the nighttime vibe. In fact, what I do in the nighttime probably should be the morning show, and what we do in the morning show should certainly be done at nighttime. That's all I'm gonna warn you fair and square. There's basically not a 5 minute, there's not a 60-second spot where we aren't cussing on the morning show. All right, just fair warning. Because I know what we do here is kind of laid back and chill. I just need you to know what you're walking into when you go to that show. It's ratchet, and it is also very enlightened. It's ratchet lightened. I'm done. I don't even want to. I don't even want to talk anymore because that was so corny. Let me read these last few. Read these last few super chats, and we're going to get out of here. I need to know where we're going. Twitch. Let my producer David know where we're raiding, because we want to return the favor. Anytime people raid us, we want to pay it forward and raid somebody else. I want to read a couple more. Whoa, snap. Let's see. Okay, a lot more. Good Lord. Okay, here we go. Tammy Fairy Girl Wolf said, I think lying is more contagious than COVID. How can we force them to hold these fools accountable? We have to take power from them. Quite honestly, that's the only thing that we can do. We have to take power and maintain that power. And we got to fight like hell to get that power. We can't convince them. We can't convert them. They're not redeemable. Let me tell you something. I supported Bernie Sanders in 2016 and in 2020. I am not a fan of Hillary Clinton, but let me tell you something that she said that everybody got upset about, that she was the absolute truth on. In 2016, Hillary Clinton was perfectly right when she called this group a basket of deplorables. Folks didn't like it. They thought it was unbecoming, right? They thought it was like, oh, she was no. She was right then, and she is right now, because they know they're lying. They know they're being cruel. They know they're killing people. They know they're out here spreading COVID-19. They know they're out here being racist. They know exactly being hypocrites. They know exactly what they're doing. If Hillary Clinton wasn't right about anything else in her life, which she was, but she certainly was right when she called them a basket of deplorables. So Tammy, to answer your question, the only way we can hold them accountable is by getting that basket of deplorables out of power by any means necessary. Thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the question. Ezekiel B said, you make me want to be a better person. Salute, my friend. That's really why I'm here. I know how to close. I'm going to get out of politics altogether and talk about why I'm really here. Madison Griffith, thank you for reading my chat. Love you on the TDR. Subscribe. Thank you, Madison. I really appreciate it. And I honestly, John, I texted him while we're here, like, as soon as this is over, he and I'm going to fly over there and he's going to fly up here and we're going to play some video games. We're going to hang out. Like, John is my dude. I really like John. We both old ass men and married and responsibilities and stuff, but we both play video games and board games, apparently. Like, he's a board game champion. Shout out to all those board games he's got. Bernie is Daddy on YouTube. That's the name. Said, U.S. is in an abusive relationship with the establishment. Absolutely. And that includes the gaslighting of the highest order. Stratton DeJournette sent another super chat saying, tonight's town hall he said that he'd make an 8-year-old transition law when asked by a voter. My follow-up, much love, but I can't support. Darth Duck 2001 said, it will be, somebody in the chat room said I'm wise. Watch my wisdom on display right there. Darth Duck 2001 said, it would be nice for us to talk about fighting for human rights and social justice instead of the orange every single day. Darth Duck, can I tell you something? I thank you so much for that, because I get so tired about talking about Donald Trump. But I'm going to be honest with you. Donald Trump for me is, I just have to admit it. I do a bait and switch. I'm very transparent about what I do here. I don't think I hide much anything. I tell more than my producers want me to tell. I tell more than my family wants me to tell. I tell pretty much all my business. And what I do here is I pull you in with the news cycle. But before it's over, I am making an appeal for humanity. So you're right. And I would love to be able to just talk about pushing humanity forward. But I still have a responsibility to pound the pavement on the issues of the day, because we can't move forward unless we get Donald Trump out of office. We simply cannot. But that doesn't mean you're wrong. I agree with you. The Netowitz said, it's time to fight them, and that means packing the courts. Basically, simply put, period, poo. Franco said, progressive Jedis walk both light and dark. We have to. We have to. I prefer not to be vicious or ruthless or cruel. And the reason I prefer not being that is because the yin to my yang, I am very empathetic, and I care greatly for people and humanity. But the other half of me is, the reason I hate doing it's because it's a part of me, and I know how to do it, and I know how to fight. I know how to cut dirty. I don't like to. I prefer not to. I would that we could have a peaceful society where and when I say peaceful, I mean even in terms of our political engagements. I wish that people, this is my personal wish, on a side note, personally, I wish that people would understand that my constant attempts to be kind and to be joyful and to make it a comfortable situation and make people comfortable around me, my constant attempts to do that are most certainly not rooted in weakness. They're rooted in the fact that you won't like me when I'm angry. Robert M. said, from Notorious RGB to 3 Pac. Jody Newell said, we need to go above the Supreme Court and address the corrupting influence of money in politics. Wolfpack.com. Definitely wolf-pack.com. That's WOLF-PAC.com. Shout out to the Wolfpack out there. Steve Gowatch said from the damage report, if Donald Trump is reelected, it will turn out that Star Wars was right, that democracy dies to thunderous applause. Thank you for that Revenge of the Sith reference. Bernie is daddy sent another one. Allowing yourself and your people to be abused is complicity. There is no goodness, nobility, compassion in being a doormat for the cruel. We have a responsibility, people. I would be less than a father if I did not do for my children the exact cruel thing that Rick Grimes did in about season 5 of The Walking Dead, when someone was trying to kill his son and he had no weapons, he had no guns, no knives, he was completely restrained, and it looked like someone was going to kill his son. I would be less than a father if I didn't do what he did in that scene, where he took his teeth and ripped the jugular right out of the man who was holding him, like a vicious, wild animal. We have a responsibility. I know this is some crazy shit, but that's how hard they're fighting us. And we have a rhetorical responsibility, political responsibility, machination responsibility. We gotta be willing to just disembowel them politically speaking, because they've been doing that to progressives for generations. And as you can tell, I'm absolutely saying that in love, right? I'm saying that in love because I would rather us not have to behave that way. I would rather us not have to pack the courts or lie or use surreptitious means. I would rather us be able to just sit across the table with people and state our intentions, and we negotiate and we come to a mutual decision that is a negotiation. But I would rather us just be straight up about it. But we apparently can't do that. So we got to have a brawl. We have to have a street fight. And we've been in a street fight. But we on the left, and Democrats particularly, have been in a street fight with pillowcases. And they've been in a street fight with brass knuckles, machetes, AK-47s, acid, nuclear weapons. They've just been bombing us out of existence. Our agenda, what we want to achieve, rolling back every decision, every opportunity they get. We got to fight fire. We got to meet them where they are. Thank you for that, Bernie is daddy. Jennifer Martin said, given the importance of justice reform, can you speak to the best way to research the judges up for retainment? 49 on my ballot, AZ ballot. Wow, thanks for your work. Jennifer, only because it's so late, I'm going to table that. And I'm going to ask my producers if they could grab that image and put it in the Slack channel separately so we can discuss it tomorrow. I don't want to forget it, but we're going to be closing out here in a few minutes. David Rodriguez, thank you so much. Okay, got it. Is that the same David from before? Or did I just get it same? Oh, man. Oh, no, let me read it. That's a different super chat. Well, damn, thanks, David. Appreciate the show support. My mouth is done. Support from Tampa, Florida. Hang on, let me read it again. Oh, it's the same message. Okay, great. Thank you. It's worth saying twice. Thank you for saying it. Jagging Squad. Thank you for that. Richard Rowe for Congress. Richard Rowe for Congress. If he's a part of the Dragon Squad, y'all should check him out. Crazy Hawaiian PA, get the tier 1 sub. Thank you for that. Jake Gloria Gargano said, she also said to check Trump's bank account and taxes. I'm not sure what that's in reference to. Rob Yates sent a super sticker, sent 2 super stickers. And Benny Loco said, we are citizens of Earth and we want peace. We're at 1 hour and 38 minutes. Richard Rowe for Congress also said in a super chat, 9 judges, my ass. How about 900? And everyone gets the 23-year-old graduates fresh out of Berkeley. And every one of the 23-year-old fresh graduates out of Berkeley. Interesting theory there. I'll make sure I don't miss anybody. Thank y'all for sending so much love and hanging out with me. We still have 1,400 people. Did we decide who we are? Did we decide who we're rating? Give me a shout out in the chat room who we're rating. While we figure out who we're rating, let me say this. Okay, we got them, right? Great. We got who we're rating. And I want to say this real quick, and I know, and I can't say it enough. I know I say it a lot, but I can't say it enough. And this is in regard to one of the comments that said we should start talking about human rights. And I read that to say we should start talking about our greater humanity. The reason I always talk about that baseline is because it literally matches up with Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And most of us are locked in that baseline, just trying to survive. The base of the triangle, the hierarchy of needs. At the top, self-actualization. But at the bottom is subsistence. It is just trying to have food, trying to have shelter, trying to have security, trying to have safety. All those physiological needs. So many Americans are just trapped there. And most of us never get a chance to move up each level. I talk about politics out of necessity and out of skill, meaning that I am skillful at it and it's a career. I'm able to do it as a profession. I hate American politics. I hate it so much so because it is so petty and so ridiculous and so constraining, and it limits us. It limits our capacity to do great things because we specialize on the petty. We need the type of politics that is going to push us to the future. We need the type of politics that's going to enhance our humanity. The type of politics that looks beyond the simplicity of our ignorance, the simplicity of our bigotry, and looks to the complexity of cooperation and collective action to the point where we can survive as a species. Because if we don't do that, our politics are uniquely fit to destroy us. Everything that's going on right now is uniquely designed to destroy us. But it doesn't have to. There is a hopeful, bright future for humanity if we can simply break free from the overwhelming gravity of the ignorance of our politics. When I engage in politics, I'm not engaging just for the joy of fighting. I don't like to fight. It's a necessary evil to get anything done. When I engage in politics, it is 100% because I need us to do better. You need us collectively as a species to do better. We have to. Humanity, future generations. Future generations are depending on us figuring out how not to destroy ourselves with the unbelievable gravity of our ignorance and our bigotry and our drama and our greed and our selfishness and our individualism. Those are all forces powerful enough for us to implode on ourselves as a civilization. Future generations depend on us figuring this out. The real reason I'm doing this is not about politics at all. It's not about America. It's not about Donald Trump. It's not about getting these clicks and being the best political commentator, radio, whatever. No. It's about the fact that at the end of the day, we're going to have to build something. We're going to have a movement of people who honestly look beyond the simplicity of our stupidity and our ignorance and our bigotry and our greed and our selfishness. They look beyond that, and they're willing to sacrifice. How easy, I say the simplicity of it because it is the easiest thing. It is the easiest human reaction to respond to those vices. It's so easy to give into greed. It is so easy that even as I'm telling you this, I have to actively reject greed every single day. Every single day. It's a constant action of rejecting those things that so easily beset us. I keep going back to religious jargon, right? Those things that so easily set us back. Those things that are so easy to give into. It's so easy to give into hate. It is so easy to give into bigotry. Why do you think Donald Trump won? Because he appealed to the most simplistic, the lowest common denominator amongst his group. And somehow we've got to build a group of people large enough to obtain political power that have the ability to constantly and regularly reject the lowest common denominator that gets them, that trips them up. Whether it be greed, whether it be bigotry, whether it be envy, whether it be hate, whatever it is, every single one of us struggle with something, but we got to reject that so that we can actually do something. I know what I'm talking about is so freaking lofty. It's almost not even worth talking about because the possibility of that happening seems as impossible as us traveling at the speed of light. Like, what are the odds of us actually as a species overcoming the ease with which, the easiness and the simplicity of our bigotry, of our hatred, of our greed? It seems impossible. But if we don't try, we would have abdicated our responsibility to future generations that are depending on us figuring this out now. Because there is a great possibility if we don't figure it out now, there will not be future generations to even be concerned with the fact that we failed them. So I do this because we have to elevate our politics. I do this because we have to elevate our politics. Our very survival depends on it. So I am more than happy to my friend who sent that comment. Thank you. I 100% agree with you. And I'm more than happy to never discuss Donald Trump again just as soon as we get him out of office. Because the first step to actually making this kind of progress is us getting the fascists, the aspiring fascists out of the White House. And with that, I'm going to assume I'm going to hold on for 5 seconds. Go ahead and give me that. Go ahead and run that Twitch raid. Put that on from Melissa Burdick. She said, I overcame being homeless and disabled. I want to help others like me. I just really wanted to share that. Darla said, we need to elevate. Amen. With that, I'm just going to yield to my producer. Let me know if you've done the raid yet. Stay well as well, my friend. Thank you so much. Good night to all of you. Vote. Oh, I love these. You guys get some good sign-offs. Good night. Lori says vote. Super chat from Misty says that she voted today in Utah. Look up Constitutional Amendment C in the U.S. Utah Constitution. Vote yes on it and end slavery and indentured servitude. It's time. Good night, everyone. Just waiting on the... Oh, man, it's midnight. I think I'm going to sleep in tomorrow. I may not go running at 6 in the morning. I'll go running, but not at 6. I'm going to sleep in. Thank you all. I'm actually just waiting for the go ahead that they got the Twitch stream going. The Twitch raid. Peace to you, Andy. Thank you so much. All right, I don't see any comments from Twitch, so that to me says that you guys are already gone. I'm going to bed, and I'm going to get a full 8 hours, and I'll see you tomorrow.